Hello Internet and welcome to another day of shining a light on my record collection. Today we are shining a light on a very important piece of musical history through the lens of the records produced or sang by Sylvester, one of my all-time favorite voices in music, one of the people known for their legendary voice on the tracks like You Make Me Feel Mighty Real or Dance Disco Heat. Why is this an important piece of musical history? Because it takes us back to kind of the roots of dance music and club culture as we know it today, and that is the gay and the queer black and Latin dance floors of the United States of America. New York, but also like Sylvester in the west of the United States, San Francisco and the queer communities there kind of originated dance floors as we know it today. And before disco really got mainstream towards the end of the 70s and later in the 80s, when it was kind of already moving into house, we had some really dope music being made, and Sylvester for me was one of those people that did a fucking good job, and I still play their music almost every week or almost every set. You might hear a Sylvester track. So what kind of happened is from the churches and the gospel music that was sung before disco was a thing, we had a lot of singers like Sylvester who made the move away from the church or via the church onto or into dance music. So that's kind of where disco is coming from. It comes from the churches and gospel, and then the people that played piano or sang in the church, they sometimes were queer like Sylvester or were not fitting in the binaries of the Catholic Church or society at the time, and they found a safer place in for example queer communities, and then kind of disco was born and dance floors as we know it. So I think it's important that we remember this because it's important that we as DJs uphold the legacy of the music that we play. A couple of tracks I want to shine a light on. Of course, this one with beautiful artwork by Keith Haring. Keith Haring sadly also passed away from complications of AIDS, just like Sylvester. Another part of history that we should remember, because it is quite a horrible part of history where a lot of people from these queer communities died from the AIDS crisis. Then moving on to some music favorites. Rock the Box, Dub Box. This is like a little single with a dub version on it. The track Rock the Box is also on this 80s disco album M1015. Has another two great tracks, Sex and Take Me to Heaven, which is like peak time 80s disco banger. Then this one has a beautiful one, a bit more down tempo or like mid tempo, Fever. Need to check the rest of the album. This album I need to listen to properly because I do not know what's on there as well, and I should. Then Stars has two really nice tracks, at least as far as I know. Kind of like a closing, end of the night kind of vibe, I Who Have Nothing, and a beginning of the night, get the dance floor going vibe, I Need Somebody to Love Tonight. Nice one. Most of these records are really cheap because they were pressed a lot, because Sylvester did venture kind of into the mainstream and was one of the first people kind of stepping outside of the binary in the mainstream of culture. So that's, I think, why they are remembered as well. Then Sylvester had some background singers, the Two Tons of Fun, but also Jeannie Tracy, and I found this one in my collection. It's actually one of my favorite disco tracks that I heard Sassy J play in Sydney, I think almost 10 years ago. And then on the flip side, Sing Your Own Song, and then on the flip side is another 80s disco track, Time Bomb. Cheap one, maybe like $5 or $10 if you find it. That's it for today. Let me know what your favorite Sylvester track is. I'm curious. Made a lot of music, beautiful music. I would like to find some more. Digging is more fun with other people, so please do leave a comment if you like the reel, share it with a friend so the algorithm catches on to what I do here. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.